Take a breath with me for a moment before we begin. If your mind feels restless, scattered, or tired, you're exactly where you need to be. Nothing here asks you to fix yourself. This is simply an invitation to rest your attention somewhere safer than fear. When Jesus spoke to people who were anxious, overwhelmed, or uncertain, he didn't shame them for it. He didn't say, "You shouldn't feel this way." Instead, he spoke directly to the part of the human mind that spirals into worry, control, and imagined futures. Again and again, he said some version of the same thing. Do not be afraid. Do not worry. Take no thought for tomorrow. Let your heart not be troubled. These weren't commands meant to pressure people into calm. They were reminders meant to free them from a false belief, the belief that they were alone in carrying life. Anxiety often begins with the idea that everything depends on you, that if you don't anticipate every outcome, prepare for every possibility, or hold everything together perfectly, something will fall apart. Jesus challenged that belief at its root. When he talked about worry, he used everyday images. He spoke about birds who don't store food and flowers that don't strain to grow, not to dismiss human struggle, but to point out something deeper. Life is already being sustained by something greater than personal effort. An anxious mind lives in the future. It asks, what if, over and over again? What if this goes wrong? What if I fail? What if I lose this? What if I'm not enough? Jesus consistently brought people back to the present moment. He spoke about today, about this moment, about now. He understood something we are only now beginning to articulate through psychology and neuroscience, that fear lives in imagined time, not in the present. In the present moment, there is breath. There is ground beneath you. There is life happening without your supervision. When Jesus said, "The kingdom of God is at hand," or "the kingdom of God is within you," he wasn't talking about a distant place you reach after solving everything. He was pointing to a state of awareness, a way of being rooted in what is real rather than what the mind projects. Anxiety pulls awareness away from that inner ground and scatters it outward. Jesus' teachings gently gather it back. Even in the lost and less discussed texts, like the Gospel of Thomas, this theme continues. Jesus speaks about being undivided, about not being double-minded, about not being split between fear and trust. An anxious mind is a divided mind. Part of you wants to trust, while another part is constantly scanning for danger. Jesus' invitation was not to suppress fear, but to return to unity, to wholeness. He didn't ask people to fight their thoughts. He asked them to see through them. When he said, "Why are you anxious?" it wasn't an accusation. It was a question meant to create awareness, a pause, a moment to notice how fear takes over without permission. Notice how anxiety often tells a story about the future that feels real, even though it hasn't happened. Jesus spoke about this illusion directly when he said that tomorrow has enough trouble of its own. Not because tomorrow is bad, but because worrying about it now creates unnecessary suffering. Anxiety convinces you that peace is conditional, that it will come once things are resolved, once answers arrive, once circumstances change. Jesus reversed that idea. He offered peace first. "My peace I give to you," he said, "not as the world gives." The world gives peace when conditions are favorable. Jesus spoke of a peace that exists underneath conditions, a peace that remains even when things feel uncertain. This is why he often withdrew into stillness, silence, prayer, not to escape life, but to return to clarity. Stillness was not passive for him, it was grounding. When the nervous system is overwhelmed, it seeks control, it tightens, it replays, it anticipates. Jesus' response was not more effort, but surrender. "Into your hands," he said, words that reflect deep trust rather than fear. Anxiety often tells you that letting go is dangerous. Jesus showed through both teaching and example that letting go is where peace is found. He trusted the source that sent him. He trusted the flow of life. He trusted that love was stronger than uncertainty. This doesn't mean he never felt distress. It means he didn't let fear define his identity. And this is key. Anxiety becomes overwhelming when you believe it defines you. When you say, I am anxious, instead of, I am experiencing anxiety. Jesus consistently separated identity from experience. He reminded people who they were beneath their struggles. You are the light of the world, he said. Not, you will be someday, but you are. Light doesn't strain to be light. It simply shines. An anxious mind strains. A grounded spirit rests. Jesus' reminder to anxious minds was not to try harder, but to remember who you are connected to. If God is present, then you are not abandoned. If God sustains life, then you are not unsupported. If love is the foundation, then fear cannot be the truth. This doesn't mean fear won't arise. It means fear doesn't get the final word. So if your mind feels anxious right now, let this be your reminder. You don't need to solve everything today. You don't need to predict the future. You don't need to punish yourself for feeling overwhelmed. Return to this moment. Return to your breath. Return to the awareness that you are held. Jesus' teachings were never about perfection. They were about trust. And trust grows slowly, gently, through repeated remembering. If you forget tomorrow, that's okay. You can return again, and again, and again. Peace is not something you earn. It's something you uncover. And it has been here all along. Take one more breath before you go. Let the shoulders soften. Let the mind rest. You are not failing at faith because you feel anxious. You are human and still deeply loved. If this reflection brought you even a small sense of calm, let that be enough for now. You're always welcome to return here when the mind feels loud and the heart needs reassurance. If you'd like more gentle reflections like this, rooted in the teachings of Jesus and meant to bring peace to anxious hearts, you're always welcome to subscribe and return whenever you need grounding or reassurance. Thank you for being here.